What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie. Gonna do a quick review of Steely Dan's first live album, Alive in America. I recently did a blind ranking of Steely Dan songs, a fun little game project. Check out that video. It's the most recent one released before this. But that inspired me to go back and listen to this, an album I have not listened to in quite a while, and I wanted to remember why I hadn't listened to it in quite a while, and now I know why I haven't listened to it in quite a while, because it's not that inspiring of a live album. So I'm just going to talk about this, not play music from it, and then just, I don't know, scratch my head at Steely Dan's ability to go into the studio and through complete sort of obsessive, let's do the same thing over and over and over and over again and get it right, somehow create magic that feels alive and essential, yet not be able to take that on the road and like replicate the same thing. Because there's something lacking in these live performances that are just not lacking in the studio. And those studio tracks are just like tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and obsessed over, but somehow they make it work. So they went on tour in 93 and 94. These are a bunch of tracks from there. The setlist integrity is pretty shot. The opening song, Babylon Sisters, was usually played like as the penultimate song of the first set. There was usually for a portion of this tour, they were doing two sets. Other portion, it was just one long show. So there's not much setlist integrity here. But I don't think that really affects it too much, as really only one of the songs really, I think, maybe betters the original, but all the other ones, I'm just like, they're either doing a really good job of just kind of replicating the sound of the studio without that essential fire that they managed to capture in the studio, or in one really bad decision, Reeling in the Years, they decide to downplay the guitar and give us a really softer rocker, adult contemporary, jazzier, mellower, but not in a good way version of that track. So yeah, a lot of new songs. I think we get 4 songs, if I'm not mistaken, off of The Royal Scam. Maybe only 3 songs off The Royal Scam. Bunch of songs off Asia, a Gaucho song. Then, yeah, the old tracks that we get are very much hits. Bodhisattva, Reeling in the Years. We get a Walter Becker, Book a Liar song. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I really wanted to like this. And I think I go back to this every decade and go, oh, maybe this is much better than I thought it was. But then I'm like, nah, but it kind of isn't. Opens up with Babylon Sisters, which starts really strong. That opening, dun, 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 dun. You're like, all right, I can ride this. There's some swag here. But then as it kind of goes on, it seems like they're doing a lot to add like tiny little eyebrows here and there. The drummer is maybe forcing the issue a little too much and trying to be a little funkier or being a little busier than he needs to be. There's all these little like horn inserts that come in, or little guitar licks that aren't in the original. And yeah, they're trying to bring something to the mix in a live setting, and I respect the decisions to do these. But I ultimately, when you have a song like Babylon Sisters, like, it's just kind of perfect to begin with. And those backing vocals just aren't the same. And yeah, I understand it's live, but it's making me want to go listen to Gaucho. It's making me want to go listen to the original. And it shouldn't do that. It should satisfy it. It should scratch a different itch and not make me have to go scratch this itch. So Babylon Sisters starts strong, but about midway through, I'm just like, yeah, there's just something lacking. And it wasn't the opening track of the show. It was like towards the end of the first set. So there's an interesting choice there. Next, we get Green Earrings, which starts off really strong. This is one of those songs where like this, what they've achieved in the studio is darn near perfect, because that transition into the guitar solo with that little drum fill that comes in with the hi-hat, and then the scraping of the guitar and that first note. Yeah, it's just not here. They tried a little bit. The drummer gets a little bit of that in there, but it's not quite the same. It's still a pretty good song. It's still pretty good. They throw in an electric piano solo that's kind of lengthy. There's a sax solo. It's kind of fun. It's kind of stretched out. It's not the second song of the show it was played on. It was the fourth song, but still, it's maybe one of the things that works better. Green Earrings. Next, we get Bodhisattva, which follows Green Earrings in the set list, but these are from different shows. The horns are playing that opening theme, so instead of by the guitar, it's done by the horns, which is kind of cool. But there's definitely a level of just guitar nastiness that's lacking from this version. But again, I think maybe two of the things that work best in this are the Green Earrings Bodhisattva pairing. Those are not horrible, but they just can't quite achieve the mastery that is achieved in the studio. Next, we get Brilliant in the Years, which is just a no for me. This is like a no teeth, no caffeine arrangement of this. This is like, you're older now, don't wake up and have coffee. Has some green tea, a little bit of honey in it. That's this version of Brilliant in the Years, which was usually the number 3 song every night. Now it's the number 4 song. It's the most, Steely Dan already has this, people listen to Steely Dan and they think it's yacht rock and they don't really pay attention to, they create yacht rock on purpose, right? That's the sound they've chosen, but the perfection, the lyrics are always subversive, and the Brilliant in the Years really is just, let's make this as gentle as possible. And that's no, I just don't think so. Josie, pretty straightforward. They throw a short little drum solo in there that I'm not sure is needed. Pretty solid version. In the show that Josie is from, it did follow Brilliant in the Years as the number 4 song, only these are from different shows. Book of Liars is next, Walter Becker song, just straightforward soft jazz. Nice that they threw this in there. I don't think it helps this particular set. That was usually right around here. It was the 7th song in the first set, and this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th song. So that's getting about the approximate placement. Peg usually followed Book of Liars somewhere around the 8th spot. Pretty straightforward. The guitar soloist is giving us a little more of a shredding type solo and kind of gives it a different vibe that I don't think quite works with Peg. Peg ain't bad. But the one song that I actually think does work, and they even slow it down a little bit, but I think it helps, is Third World Man. I kind of like this. It's a little more dramatic. The guitar works really well in here. This was usually towards the end of like the second set, and so it's kind of where it would be in this, if you take this single CD as like a listening experience, this is towards the end of it. Third World Man works, and it's a little bit slower, and it's a little bit more dramatic, but it just feels like we're allowed to just seep in it a little bit longer, and I don't know, I like it. It works, especially after like things that I want to be better, but just aren't. Third World Man, I don't know. It's the one that I'm like, okay, this one hits. Maybe want some more. I guess it's a relatively deep cut, right? I mean, it's not a huge hit, but I don't know. I liked it. Kid Charlemagne, Too Chill. This was usually the last song in the main set, so here there's 2 more songs after this. It's not a bad version, but it's just, that's my favorite Steely Dan song, and the bar's high. Okay. Signing Stranger, kind of smoothed out. Doesn't have that funkiness that the studio version has. It's a little bit slower. There's some little interlude in the middle with some horns and some like percussion in there, some like light vibes or something like that. This short little interlude they dropped that maybe could be longer, that maybe could be a little bit more indulgent, but I don't know. It needs a little more. The piano needs to be weirder. Those little breaks need to be weirder. It's almost like they like if you were to like track the actual studio performance, the jaggedness of those intros are like rolling like this, and they've made it more like a softer roller coaster instead of a more extreme one. I don't know. And then they close out with Asia, which is pretty much a straightforward version of Asia, which was usually the second song of the night. Here it's the last song of the night of the disc. So really, it was, none of it's bad. I mean, it's Steely Dan. They're going to hire a good band. And Donald Fagen's voice is always fantastic. When do you not want to hear Fagen sing a song? But really, Babylon kind of sets it up that it's going to be good, but midway through, you realize these musicians are just trying a little too hard to like make up for whatever's lacking. Some eyebrows that just aren't needed. Sometimes the horns are too much. But Babylon starts strong but fades. Green and Bodhisattva are okay. Reeling disappoints. Josie's just too straightforward. Book of Liars is too soft. Peg too straightforward. Third World, I would argue, is the highlight. Kid Charlemagne can't be Kid Charlemagne. Sign In just not living up to Sign In. And Asia is a pretty straightforward run through of Asia. So, yeah. Now I know why I don't listen to this. I'd much rather just go back and listen to the studio albums. But yeah, if I'm missing something, let me know. Clue me in. Tell me how to unlock this so I enjoy it more. But I do think it's just, I don't know. I don't know what Steely Dan needed to do differently to make this a more exciting experience. But this just feels a little too, let's go to Vegas, do a residency and drop our hits kind of thing. But yeah. Those are my thoughts. That's all I got on Alive in America. Let me know anything different. All right. Yeah, that's it. All right. Thanks. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Give me your thoughts on this. Check out the blind ranking if you haven't. That was a lot of fun. And peace. Talk to you later.